Hey, good morning. This is Ryan Furrer, a front-end web developer contributing to some open source projects today. We're working on OpenSauced. This is a ticket that I saw and I grabbed because it seemed relatively quick and simple. So the problem here is that the workspace dropdown in the add to workspace modal is too big. The arrow is in the middle of the dropdown. You can see that here, where the selector is here and the actual drop down content is in the middle of it. So I took a relatively easy fix to this. We'll talk about the code in a second, but here you can see my dev server running, and we run in here, and it's no longer taking up the entire width, and the drop down is the appropriate size that you might expect. So for this, there was a couple of changes involved. However, I did also adjust it a little bit on mobile because I thought could be a little bit polished. So mobile has a drawer that pops up. We're going to keep the full width here. That's pretty common on mobile for inputs, especially buttons and the like. And now, however, the drop-down content before was just it was again the same size, so it was just about half the content. I did expand it out to the almost the full width, 90 viewport wide, and I think it looks a little bit better, and it's more consistent with what you might expect the styling to look like. So let's jump into the code. Let's talk about the desktop first, since that's what the ticket was for. And so we're in the add to workspace modal here. We're going to scroll down, and there's just one small change here in this actual file. Before, there was a hard-coded width of 32 rems. Fine. I don't think there's a Tailwind class for exactly 32. However, I just changed it to with content fit. This is going to mean that the width is no wider than the content that is inside it. And that made it so that then it was the modal was smaller. However, then we're going to come over to this single select component and come down here, and there's where a couple more changes occur. So first we have the drop-down menu trigger. That is this element here that you're actually clicking on. And so before it had a min width of max, which is 100%. We changed that a little bit. That's still going to be there. However, now we have a width of full that'll be applying to smaller screen sizes. And then on medium or larger, and this is of course based on the breakpoints in Tailwind or you set up in project, it'll have fit content. So that's why on our screen size here, we see that it's not expanding the full width because this is all the content in there, is the create new workspace ... Then we come down here to the drop-down menu content, and there's another little change here. So over here we had with full, with important tag here. I wonder if this is added just because they maybe were struggling to get it to work. Either way, I changed that for with 90 viewports and with medium with auto. So again, on the smallest viewport, it's going to be a max width of 90 viewports, which we can see again right here when I pull up this. You can see here it's taking up 90% of basically 90% of 100% of how wide the screen is. And then if we get out of the responsive view, it's taking up the max content that is available there. So that's what I have. We'll see what the open source team thinks of it, and thanks for checking it out.